building relationships such that you have people who will advocate for you, who will sponsor you. Someone's going to ask, who do you know and what will they say about you?
I would really just think about mentoring and sponsorship as a two-way street. And it's not just what can I get for me, but how can I make this a mutually beneficial relationship?
People, they'll be happy with all the hard work that you do, but the one thing they pay attention to is how you react to things. When things go wrong, you don't react. You take some time and you come back and respond. People will not always remember all of the great things you've done, but as soon as you do something, they will remember that.
Thank you so much.
All right, so first up, we're going to give opening remarks to Dr. Lisa Owens Jackson. Y'all know her as Dr. OJ, Department Chair of Accounting and Finance.
Hi. I am so impressed with all these moves you guys have. We don't see those in class very often. Thank you so much, Terrence, and welcome home. I'm so excited for the conversation. Both our students in the audience and the listeners on the podcast are in for a treat. This is a chance for you all to hear directly from business executives about how they charted their paths and navigated their careers to be the successful individuals that they are. And how accounting, my passion, the one that you sometimes dismiss, is in some way and has had some part in their journey. It is always our goal to bring knowledgeable and interesting experiences and perspectives to the forefront. And this platform is a great place to have this conversation. I'm looking forward to listening in and being a part of it, and I know you are too.
All right, well, I will say less, and we will welcome Terrence J of Money Talks.
Let me get that one more time. Can I get an Aggie Pride? Aggie Pride! That's what I'm talking about. But I want to hear one more time for the people in the back. Can I get one more? Aggie Pride? Aggie Pride! Thank you so much. Give yourself a round of applause. And welcome to Money Talks. All right, so people are wondering why I'm here and what I'm doing. Let me tell you, okay? 25 years ago, I stepped foot on this very campus, that building right over there behind us. And I remember how I felt being a young student and having dreams and aspirations. I started my career in entertainment right here in this very area, and it's been 25 years of doing all types of stuff. 106 in Park is celebrating 25-year anniversary. Has anybody heard of that show? Some of y'all are not even 25 years old. Your mom was watching that show. The mama's mom that's watching that show. You was watching. Thank you so much. You grew up watching it, and I appreciate all of you guys. That show is near and dear to my heart. And for these last 25 years, I've just been so blessed. I've been able to do so many incredible things. And I'm sorry, my back is to you. So I'm gonna try to position right here. I've been able to do so many cool things with my career. I've been able to be at the Oscars, win an Oscar, and then host the red carpet for the Oscars. I've been able to do movies and star opposite of Kevin Hart and Taraji P. Henson and Gabrielle Union and Megan Good and all these amazing people. I've been able to do, I did Power Confidential, where we broke down all the episodes of Power. I've done dating shows across continents. I've done all types of different things. But my life really changed when I understood financial literacy. When I understood money, all of the things that I've been working hard for, all of the things that I was trying to save up for, all of the things that I was trying to do, everything changed for the better when financial literacy became a big part of my life. I was able to 10x, 20x, 100x everything that I was currently working on because I understood the power of money. So I wanted to do something special. I wanted to do a blast in the past and speak to myself 25 years ago, okay? I wanted to do this show, Money Talks, so that I can get all the financial knowledge and wisdom and the breakdown that I wish I would have known about when I was your age, all right? So here today, we are going to meet some incredible people. We're going to have some incredible dialogue, and we're going to talk about some incredible money. Is that cool with y'all? So welcome to Money Talks. First of all, I want to thank my friends at Pod Digital Media, and I want to thank my fam at Deloitte. We have an incredible panel with us here today. And we're going to start with you, Dr. Tasha, and we're going to go around the horn. And please, if you could, introduce yourself to our lovely crowd and tell everybody what you do.
I am Dr. Tasha Austin-Williams. I am out of Washington, D.C., born and raised. Anyone here from Washington, D.C.? I thought I would hear more than that. I just saw a little bit of raises. I have alignment to North Carolina for sure, so it's great to be back. I went to the other school down the road called North Carolina Central University, where
Guys, it's too early in the show to be come on, we want to get y'all some jobs, all right? All right? Don't boo your future boss, all right? Being your future boss is not good, all right?
You know, we're a HBCU community. Let's just call it that, right? So I did go there for my undergraduate degree in mathematics and my graduate degree in mathematics. And then I went to Howard University for my degree, my MBA. And then I went to get my PhD in artificial intelligence at Capital Technology University in Laurel, Maryland. And so my background is in artificial intelligence. I do a lot of work. I love problem solving. I love math. And I love all the wonderful capabilities that are out here today with AI. How many of you all are playing with any of the apps that are out there? Wonderful. And so I do a lot for Deloitte. I actually help my clients on their AI journey. So if they're trying to figure out how do they upscale their workforce in artificial intelligence capabilities, I work with them to do that. I help them build AI strategies, help them think about the right technologies to bring into their organization. Also lead what we call our Artificial Intelligence Institute, which is about pushing out a number of research articles on things that my clients are grappling with, whether it's how do I actually think about AI and human collaboration where they can both exist, or how do I think about adversarial AI when it comes to the harmful things that can go along with these technologies. But I'm also really big in talking about the responsible use of this technology. This technology, when you use it the wrong way, some things can go very bad. And so my role is to talk about the responsible use of the technology. I am definitely looking forward to the conversation today because I do think the accounting profession is very important when you think about the needs that we have, the demand for the skill. When you think about the high earning potentials that come with it, there's a benefit there. There's truly a need for it, and there's a lot of different roles you can take on when you actually pursue a background in accounting. So I look forward to the conversation.
I do too. Give it up for Dr. Tasha, making sure that this world doesn't turn into Terminator 2. All right. Thank you so much, because that is very important. We're going to go now to you, Shenique.
Hello, good afternoon, North Carolina A&T. It is so good to be on your campus. Unlike Tosh, I did not go to school in the state, but still, I feel like I've adopted you. You see, I'm even wearing your somewhere on the spectrum of blue. So hopefully you accept me as an honorary Aggie today. But good afternoon. As you mentioned, Terrence, my name is Shenique Gray. I'm a partner also at Deloitte, but in our audit and assurance business. And I've been with the firm now for just under 20 years. I specialize in financial services, so most of my clients are banks, investment funds, insurance agencies, etc. And although serving our clients is very much at the heart of what we do at Deloitte, I spend a lot of my time also promoting and advancing our people. So I have a role as the leader of our East Region culture, experience, and belonging, which is very near and dear to my heart. When I think about this conversation today, you might ask, what do you do? You're a CPA, you're a partner at Deloitte, but what does that mean that you work in audit and assurance? The simplest way I can think about it is if I take it back to what Terrence just talked about in terms of investments. So some of my clients, very many of them, are large public companies. And so every year they issue financial statements. And so if you're deciding, who do I want to invest in? Who's a really profitable company? How do I know if this company is who they say they are? So good to be here today, Terrence. Looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. Give it up. It's so great to have you. And so to what you said earlier, you know, we do sometimes give out honorary Aggie for a day. I mean, these are business students, so we're gonna leverage a deal. You got to make sure when you see the A&T resumes kind of
Okay.
across your desk, slide the
Okay.
Is that cool? That
Okay.
sounds. That's the right thing. That's the right thing. So you're good. You're an Aggie
love
for the
it.
day.
Okay.
You're an Aggie for the day. Look out for us. We look out for you. The next person needs no introduction because his name is on the building that a lot of you guys are in classes for. So please introduce everybody to yourself.
Terrence, thank you and good afternoon. Hopefully you've seen me around, and it's good to be back. Always good to be back in the College of Business. I'm a 1977 graduate of then the School of Business and Economics, and I spent the last 50 years of my existence on this earth working in either computers or pharmaceuticals. As a matter of fact, I have to assume all of you were vaccinated when you were babies. You should know that an Aggie oversaw the manufacture of those vaccines.
That's awesome.
Did not know that. So a nice fun fact.
Fun fact.
So if you were vaccinated with the vaccine when you were a baby, I made them. Now, where does the intersection of that and accounting? When you have a $9 billion operating budget and a $2 billion capital budget, and you support over $60 billion in sales, accounting is pretty important.
Yeah.
We have to know, do the numbers add up across and down? And in my case, did we adhere to the budget for making those medicines? And usually it was an accountant who kept record of that and let me know whether or not we were going to be on point or not. And it was my job to ensure that that happened. So I stopped by one of the accounting classes today and I asked the students, none of which were majoring in accounting, do you like accounting? And they said no. I had to remind them, unless they hit the lottery, they were going to be dealing with numbers for the rest of their lives. So get on with it. So I think today is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn and to figure out how not only are you going to win, but win big.
That's what I love to hear. Win and win big. Now, before we get into this conversation, you know, I like to break the ice, especially when it comes to business students and being here with business professionals, because sometimes these jobs, you know, make us seem, like this esoteric. It could be a little scary. You got the accountants, the executives. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of the business side of what we do, we'll just ask a couple personal questions because I could tell a lot from people by the answers to these questions. So give me one television show that you love that you're watching right now, and go down the line because that's gonna start it off for me. Dr. Tasha, we'll start with you.
So I don't know if it would be what I'm watching right now, but maybe it's something that I would watch anytime it ever comes on. If that's okay. Because I think it has meaning. I have two favorite shows. One is called The Devil Wears Prada. Has anyone? Yes. Yeah.
Favorite movie? Yep.
And I love that, not just because of the glitz and glamour of the fashion. I mean, that matters too. But what I really like about it is the continuous learning, the adaptability that you saw Anne Hathaway demonstrate. That was not easy. She stepped into an area that she completely had no skills in, and she was up for the challenge, and she mastered that challenge. And that is all about being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think she did that very well. She also learned the importance of work-life integration. She learned a hard lesson there in putting her work before her personal life, and that's not a good thing. We got to figure out how to integrate and balance some of that. And she was very, very good when it came to integrity over advancement. When you think about the fact that she could have kept advancing as Meryl Streep wanted to put her in a number of roles, she actually at some point took a reflection of herself, created awareness around everything that was going on, and realized that it was time to make the right decision. And so when you think about all of those traits that I'm mentioning, that shows up in the workplace every day. Being adaptable, a continuous learner, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, making sure you have the work-life integration figured out. Like, that's what I really take away from that. And my husband's sitting in the audience, but he gets mad every time it comes on. I'm like, we have to watch this movie because it re-energizes me, because there's a lot of points in there.
Honey, it's a nighttime this week. We're watching it again. I love it. I love that movie as well. Willie?
You want to go?
For me, it would be The Five Heartbeats. And the reason why I love the movie is because it's a movie about life. the ups and downs, the triumphs, the failures, the resiliency, and in the end, those friendships, those relationships brought them back together. And it's somewhat emblematic of the life that you will lead. And I've learned over the last 50 years, it's never as good as it seems, nor it's bad.
It's great.
Love it. Shenique?
Yeah, if I had to choose just one, I would go with The Chosen. Okay, great. I was afraid I was going to have to explain that to a lot of people, but it is just such a great depiction of what the Bible stories look like that, I mean, you probably know, you guys are young, but a lot of those shows about like the Bible or Jesus even are like very outdated and they're not well done, but this one is well done. And so it really stands out for me.
Got it. Now, actually, that was a trick question. I wanted them to say movies or TV shows that I was in. They had already seen the mistake. So I guess we'll just move on from this question. You'll just cut this from the podcast because I thought one of them was going to show me something.
Money talks.
I'm joking. Money talk. There we go. Money talks. Money talks. There we go. And then one hobby, just so when you're not changing the world when accounting, what's one thing that you do when you're off?
Okay. I'm going to just cheat right quick and say two, because one is retail therapy, because I really need that.
You have to say that louder, Tash.
Retail therapy. So that's one hobby, but on a serious note, I love teaching. One of the things I did not say in my introduction was I'm a professor outside of my job at Deloitte at Cornell University, where I teach artificial intelligence and public policy. And that is important to me because it does sound like a very complicated set of capabilities. And I really think my purpose is creating safe spaces in the classroom, bringing in sort of the industry perspective so that folks can the students can connect the things that they're learning from a theoretical perspective to real world problems. And so at the same time, I like creating a space where people feel okay asking the questions that they may be scared to ask because they feel like they're going to be judged. And I really think my purpose is to create those safe spaces of learning. So that's sort of a passion of mine. And that's why I teach outside of work.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Teaching. Okay. What's your hobby outside?
I love two things. I love the theater. I love music and sports.
Love it. I love it. Who you going for in the playoffs?
Warriors.
The world. Okay. All right.
No?
I ain't mad at that. They've been bowling. I mean, Jimmy and Steph. That's a nice combo over there. We're gonna see what's gonna happen.
Sticking with it. For me, I would have to say singing. I started singing when I was very young, and it's something that is very different from what I do in my day-to-day job, but it fuels me and energizes me and allows me to flex a creative muscle that's on the other side of my brain, and it's great for me.
I love that. And it's I wanted to start with that because I've now been with my accountant for going on like 15 years. And every year we get to know each other more. And, most of our conversations are very buttoned up because he's handling, one of the most important parts of my life. But accountants, you guys are everybody's people too, right? So what's one of the most, I'll start with you, Shenique. What's one of the most common misconceptions and negative thoughts that people think about when they think about accounting?
Yeah, if I had to pick one, it's probably that we don't have personalities. There was a 2016 movie called The Accountant. It starred Ben Affleck. Has anyone seen it? So the way it's described is that he was a mathematics savant who had more of an affinity for numbers than he did for people. That is not true of most of us. Most of us actually really enjoy spending time with people. I will tell you, I like numbers fine, but I do love people more than I like numbers. I think that's one. Accountant 2 is coming out tomorrow. In fact, it's a little less dark, a little more funny than the first one. Deloitte was actually mentioned in The Accountant, the movie. I don't know if we're mentioned in number 2, but I will watch it to see if we get a shout out. Maybe the second is that it's boring and that the hours are crazy. And I think if I were to think through maybe what are some of the things that we've done to shift that tide a little bit, is we really have worked hard, especially the younger leaders in our organization, to change the tenor of what it means and what it takes to be successful at Deloitte. Can I have a life outside of the firm? Absolutely, yes. Can I have hobbies? Do I have to work 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day, maybe as an exception, but certainly not as my everyday life. And so when I think about some of the things I hear as feedback, I would say those are two things that I hear and that we're working really hard as leaders within Deloitte and within the profession to change.
Absolutely. And programs like this, hopefully can break down some of those misconceptions. Now, Willie, and it's okay that I call you Willie, right?
Absolutely.
Because I've been in and out of your building so much, I feel like we're friends. How does that feel? Was that always a dream of yours? Because when people look at accounting, it's hard to gauge what it means to be a success, right? When we talked about sports earlier, when you have a favorite team, they can win the chip. But in accounting, what is that chip? Is having, a building named after you, is that like an accomplishment that you're proud of? Because I know I would be. I would be telling everybody, hey, come meet in my building right now. And look at this right here. Like, can you talk a little bit about what success looks like in the accounting field?
Well, I think it could look like the typical metrics that a business gets measured by. Are you profitable? Are you delivering on the budget? So those are things that are kind of normal measures. The other measures would be, is your career progressing? Are you continuously learning? And when you're doing those things, then you're both expanding your knowledge, expanding what you're able to give back to the organizations that you serve and the communities that you serve. And then whether or not you're fulfilling your own personal journey in pursuit of your career. And those kinds of answers get reinforced. Now, in terms of, did I set out from a career standpoint to have the college name in my honor? No, that was never a pursuit. What became my pursuit was helping students the way I had been helped when I was here, making an investment in them the way I was invested in, and ensuring that they have an opportunity for success.
I love it. Give that a round of applause. Dr. Tasha, you have a very unique career field because you're on the tech side with AI, but also in accounting as well. What are some of the entry-level qualifications that you can tell the students here today they should be, leaning towards in order to have a successful career that crosses over different lines?
And kind of goes back to the movie, some of the traits that I mentioned in the movie. In addition to those things, I would say, first, you want to be adaptable. Like, think about where we are today in the world. We are certainly, there's certainly an evolution of technology, right? And so we want to make sure we can adapt with what's happening. Agility matters. Like, you want to give it your all, like figure out how you be resilient, figure out how you sort of ride the wave, as we would say, as things change and as different roles and opportunities become available. Complex problem solving skills, analytical skills is a big deal, creative thinking, teamwork, but also being able to sort of be a self-starter as well is important. Just making sure you know how to network. And I'm an introvert, so it's not easy for me to do that. But networking is a big deal. And so making sure you have good communication skills and you can figure out how to build a team and be open and be inclusive. Those are like some of the things we don't talk about beyond technical skills that folks are looking for when you come into their organizations. And so I would just say those are a few areas that you should focus on.
Those are some great things for the students to know. Shenique, I'll let you piggyback off of that. Anything that our students should think about and consider as they look at qualifications, entering into the work field?
Absolutely. In addition to what Tasha mentioned, I think some of the things that I think about when I look at, a brand new hire or an intern coming through the doors, it's the leaning in is how we describe it. I don't expect that my interns know everything when they walk through the door. That's in fact why they're there, so that we can teach them a lot of what's required for us to do a great job. But if I see someone who is eager to learn, who's soaking it all up like a sponge, who's asking great questions, who may not have the answers, but has considered maybe some potential solutions, if you guys have taken your first accounting class, I'm maybe dating myself here if we don't teach it like this anymore, but like the steps in a technical memo are, first you identify the problem, second you look at what's the research, what's the standard, you analyze it, and then you conclude. But I have some people who walk into my office and they stop at step one. All they've brought to me is, this is the problem. They haven't considered alternatives. They haven't analyzed it. They don't bring a conclusion. They They bring it to me at step one, and then they want me to take it to the end of the line. So when I think about skills, it's really thinking through, hey, there is this problem, but how can I, using all my skill set, all that I know, how can I bring a solution and a problem solved, if you will, rather than just bringing a problem? I'd add that.
Okay. And Willie, I'll have to ask you the same question as well. You know, you have a storied career. You've done many things, so I'm sure you've seen all types of different resumes come across your desk. What are some of the things that our students should know as they get prepared to enter into the workforce?
There's a number of things. One is, how do you enter the organization? Who do you make connections with? And who do you form relationships with as it relates to mentoring, as it relates to coaching, as it relates to learning about the organization? I worked in several global companies. And one of the first things I'd always do when I got there was study the organization, such that I understood the nuances, I understood the norms, and I understood what success looked like in that organization. And then I'd find people who had values consistent with my own, and I would build relationships with them. And they became my coaches and mentors literally for the rest of my career.
Terrence, it seems like Mr. Deese works with us, but I think if you were to ask Tasha, what is the capital that you need to spend to be successful at a firm like Deloitte? It's relational capital. Yeah. It's not what you studied in school as a foremost. That's table stakes. There are tons of really intelligent people, but it's who knows what you're doing, who can speak to the story of your success, what you've developed, that you're knocking it out of the park. So I just wanted to reiterate that, like,
And some of that,
the relationship capital.
that is also about like amplifying your brand, what you bring to the table, because they won't know who you are if you can't share what you can do and what you bring to the table. Yeah.
And that's such an important skill for our young people to know about, especially when you're talking about a big company like Deloitte. There's so many different people. There's so many smart people. There's so many people from different universities with different credits and different backgrounds. So being able to have that personal skill to let people know what you do and why what you do is different and special, I think is a skill that all of them should know about. Would you agree?
Agreed.
Terrence, I think there's one other thing. In the process of doing what they've just talked about, building relationships such that you have people who will advocate for you and who will sponsor you, because it is almost always a situation where someone's going to ask, who do you know and what will they say about you? And even when you're not asking, you don't even know those questions are being asked. Those answers are being given.
Even when you say sponsor, you know, for me, one of the biggest things that has helped me succeed in my career is reaching out to people and simply asking them to be my mentor. Simply saying, hey, I admire what you do. I respect what you've accomplished, and I would love for you to help me. And there will be people that will say no. And there will be people that won't have the time to give you. But if you ask enough people and you put yourself out there enough, there will be somebody that will take you on. If you ask 10 people, there'll be somebody that help you. I always say, if you stay around in the barbershop long enough, you're bound to get a haircut. So you got to put yourself out there. How has putting yourself out there and networking within the accounting field helped you guys advance?
I would say for me, there's this really important part to what we're talking about, which is being authentic and not only self-oriented. What I mean by that is, even if, as we talk about mentors and sponsors, yes, they're likely more advanced, more successful, further along than you are, but it is still a mutual relationship, right? Where you're thinking about, what can I bring to this table? I'll give you an example. I may be talking to my CEO. Yes, I'm a partner, but you know, our CEO isn't in our client offices every day. And so she may ask me, well, hey, what is your perspective? What are you hearing at our client sites? So she might be a mentor to me, but she's also looking for me to give her feedback from the ground. And so I would really just think about mentoring and sponsorship as a two-way street. And it's not just what can I get for me, but how can I make this a mutually beneficial relationship?
Absolutely. Remember, coming out of college, you guys have something that none of us have youth. So make sure you tap into it and use it. I'm always looking to young people. Teach me. I want to know everything. Teach me what music is hot. Teach me what's going on, and all of that plays into different parts of our career field. So never take for granted that you have youth and you have a unique experience and a unique outlook from life, because all of those things are very helpful as well. I see you nodding. So especially assuming in AI.
Well, exactly. I was just thinking about when they were dancing earlier and how I saw you all saw me sort of up here trying to get into it. I'm learning from you all. I'm like, okay, I think I understand the dance now. And so, I mean, I think there is something about when students first enter into the organization, how much you can learn from them. And I don't take that for granted. I like try to lean into your point to learn from them. And so it is really a two-way thing. And I think with AI, I get a lot of folks that come into the firm that are like, I just need to know it. It seems like it's the hottest thing. I got to figure out how to integrate it into my career. And I'm there for them, like trying to figure out how do I help them navigate it. I think at the same time, I have something that even leaders that are more senior than me are looking for me to help them understand. So to your point about bringing a perspective, one of the things I always lean in on is I'm about to meet this senior partner. What can I offer them? And the first thing I think about is, okay, maybe it's something in AI. Like maybe they need to know something that they don't know. And so how do I bring sort of my contributions into the field, into those conversations? And I think that has made for some pretty successful outcomes for me, because when I walk out, I find myself taking on another role, which is a really good role. But I mean, you just never know where those conversations will take you. So I think that goes back to the importance of bringing a perspective and figuring out what you have to offer to the table.
Absolutely. Well, we have some questions from our live studio audience today that they've submitted. So I'm going to go down the line. Willie, this question is for you. How do you think organizations can support their employees in overcoming challenges and fostering resilience?
I think the best organizations figure out how do they help you grow and develop. They figure out how do they support your needs both at the office or if you're working remotely. How do they provide mental health resources? How do they provide professional development? All of those things are things that I'd be looking for as I made my choice on who I wanted to join. It's a two-way street. Is it right for you and good for you, as well as are you right for that organization?
Thank you so much. Shenique, this question is for you. What strategies can new accountants use to achieve long-term career growth and advancement?
Yeah, I think some of the things we talked about are spot on for this. But as I think about long term, I really do think about the wholeness of our being and the well-being that goes beyond, am I just doing a good job? So taking care of our mental health, taking care of our physical health. It's funny, sometimes I get questions like, your schedule is so busy, how do you find time to work out? And it's almost the opposite. It's like, no, because my schedule is so busy, I need to find time to work out so that my energy carries through the long day that's ahead of me. So I think that's one strategy, thinking about your whole self, not just, your professional or your academic self, but your whole being. I think the second thing is I think about long-term career growth and strategies is really understanding what are the trends, how is the business world moving, like really paying attention to what's happening in the market around you so that you're not stuck, 2 years back in what was happening 2 years ago, and now the market's like 2 years ahead and you haven't kept up. So I really think understanding what's going on in the business world, and that might be as simple as like a free subscription to the Wall Street Journal or to some other publication that you're seeing the headlines. I don't read all the articles. Maybe I'm telling on myself. I don't read all the articles. Sometimes I just read a headline. Sometimes the headline is enough just to keep up and be able to understand what's happening. So that's another thing I would say is just keeping up with what's happening in the industry. The third thing I might say is make sure that what you're doing is fulfilling to you. The question asked about long term. It's really hard to fake it for 20 years, for 30 years, for 40 years. So if you're in a lane that is not fulfilling, it might behoove you to pivot because it's going to be really hard for you to have long-term success and even enjoyment if it's something that's not fulfilling you. And so I really would have you question, like, why am I doing this? What does this fuel in me, and can this really sustain me for a 20 or 30-year career? And you might not know that on day one, but maybe 2 years in, you realize that this isn't fueling you, and then they need to pivot.
If you wouldn't do it for free, then you need to find something else to do. You gotta love what you do. You gotta wake up every single morning and love what you do. Tasha, I hear you laughing about it. The question for you is actually a question that I thought of myself. Can you walk us through a day being an accountant, being in the AI and technology field? What are some of the things that you actually do?
A client may call me and say, we are trying to build, like we're trying to automate some process that they have, some business process. They're not sure whether they have the subject matter experts in their organization to do it, so whether they have the talent. They're not sure which tool they should use. The challenge with the evolution of all of these capabilities is that it's too many. And so they don't exactly know, well, which one will suit my needs? And so trying to help them work through the best fit sort of analysis and the best fit capability to serve their particular need and solve their problem is something that we work through. And then there's all of the governance. It's, okay, well, how do I make sure when I implement this solution that, one, I'm doing it in a responsible way. I'm not creating any more issues from what I'm about to introduce into my business systems, et cetera. And if there is an issue, who are the folks that are going to fix it? And so we have to think about sort of the governance piece to that as well. We don't solve all the problems in one day. In fact, it takes a while to get through all of that because my clients are learning as they're trying to figure out, how do I quickly get these capabilities into our organization? Some of that is also about building a relationship and trusting one another because, look, there's a lot of people that can come and try to sell you on a number of things. I focus a lot on trying to deepening my relationship with my clients so that they can trust that I'm giving them what I think is the right solution for the problem that they're trying to solve. And so there is a relationship piece to that for sure. And then, look, there are times when we don't agree on things. I may say, this probably is the right solution. They may say, well, I tried that and that didn't work, or someone else tried to give that to me and that didn't work. And so, we got to work through that and figure out where the happy medium is. But at the end of the day, it's all about how do I make sure they get what they need. And then all the other stuff is important too. I'm a mentor, Shenique's a mentor. I'm a sponsor for a number of folks. I spend time with a lot of folks in the firm. They come to my office. There's all kinds of challenges they have in navigating their career. And so part of my day is also full of meetings, trying to make sure that folks have what they need. They have good days, they have bad days. My role is to try to make sure that they're at least comfortable working in such a large organization and getting the support that they need. And so there's, outside of the client work, sort of that part of the journey as well.
Dr. Tasha, you touched on so many important things, but one of the most important nuggets that I just took is that personal relationship with your clients is everything. I think especially when a lot of us think about the accounting field or even just business as a whole, we think about the numbers, we think about the money and the output of it, but the personal connection is exponentially more important than anything. Like I said, I've now been with my accountant for over 15 years. I've been with the same firm. He's hired different assistants. He's hired different people that work with him. But my relationship with him means everything to me. So over time, there's been increases in how much you have to pay your accountants. Over time, we will all raise the rate at some given time. And when that conversation comes and I have to say, do I switch and go to an accounting firm that costs less? Do I leave and try to go to somewhere where I can shave some pennies here? The trust that I have in my CPA and that personal relationship to be able to call him if there's an emergency and I know he'll pick it up. And the fact that he's never robbed me out of all this time that I know of. Hey, you better not have. The fact that I've never been robbed. All of those things are why that personal relationship is so important. So as you're doing everything in class, as you're doing all of your numbers, make sure that you're deepening relationships and working on your people skills and your relationship skills, because Willie, that's important as well.
Terrence, it's critical. People do business with people they trust. and they continue to do business with people they trust. And when the trust is lost, they don't continue to do business with you.
Yeah.
And so what you said is critically important. If you think about the role of an accountant, it is to be fiduciarily responsible. It is to be ethical. It is to be truthful. And if those things aren't there, there's no basis for the relationship.
There's been so many times where I talk to my kid, can we save a little money? And he is the most ethical person in my life. He's like, nope, you can't do that, even if I want to, which is very important. So before we go to the next part of this program, is there anything else that you would like to tell the younger you that was sitting in this office, aspiring for a career in accounting, or aspiring for a career in business, or just aspiring for a career? What are some of the do's, the don'ts, the I wish I would have, or the I wish I didn't, that you would have wanted to know when you was in their very seat?
I think for me, a couple of things came to mind as you were asking that question, Terrence. The first is my parents flashed across my face or my eyes. My father and my mother grew up very poor, essentially. I was born in the Bahamas, and my father would tell this story that he was 12 years old before he had his first pair of shoes that were his, not hand-me-downs. And so as I think about your question, like what would I tell people, it's like it really does not matter where you start. It's what happens from that point onward. And I would tell you, my father would probably be the first to say that he's my biggest cheerleader now, because from that point of, first pair of shoes at 12, what he did for most of his professional life was really ensure that all of his children had an opportunity for an education and to follow an opportunity that was fueling them. And so as I think about what I would say, it's, hey, maybe you don't have, a parent that's cheering you on, or you don't have the greatest support system. But if you think about, it doesn't matter where I started, but there's just trajectory that I'm on. There's this goal that I have my eyes set on. And I really do take the steps to surround yourself with people that are cheering you on, that are helping you tool up to get there. There really is no limit for you.
I love it. Dr. Tasha?
Yeah, so two things. So one, an area that doesn't get talked about a lot is emotional intelligence. And I'm a first generation.
Sorry, Dr. Can you say that again for the people in the back?
Emotional intelligence.
All right, now.
And I'm a first generation college graduate. And so when I stepped into the workforce, I didn't have the sort of experiences in my family could sort of guide me on to say, hey, here's how you need to show up when you're entering into a big place, for example, like a Deloitte. And I seriously took a lot of things personal. Every time something went wrong, it was like, oh, they try, this is wrong. They trying to make me look bad or this. And I would actually try to go and fight those issues. Like I would try to do that. That does not work. You really have to be thoughtful and aware and tap into mentors and all, like we said, to try to figure out how do you work your way through situations that may feel difficult. Everything is, first of all, not meant to push back on or to try to give a fight to. And honestly, when things go wrong today, I have a great network. I call them my board of advisors that I can turn to say, this happened. I want to make sure that I'm not looking into this the wrong way. I'm sure there are other perspectives out there. I want to hear them. And then can we think about what's the right approach to go and address the situation? Because the reality is, people, they'll be happy with all the hard work that you do, but the one thing they pay attention to is how you react to things. And so someone told me once before, when things go wrong, you don't react. You take some time to yourself and you come back and respond when the time is right. And like I said, that may be calling a couple of friends or mentors, but I think that's just really important because people will not always remember all of the great things you've done, but as soon as you do something that all of a sudden shows a different side of your personality, they will remember that. And so they are looking at how do you handle things, when there's a lot of ambiguity, how do you show up? What does resiliency look like for you? And so I just want to amplify the emotional intelligence is extremely important when you talk about mastering something that's going to be sustainable and create a lot of success for you.
I cannot piggyback enough off of that and stress emotional intelligence is so important. Does everybody know what an emotion is? No, it's not. I'm being serious. Does somebody give me the definition of an emotion? Okay, so we don't know what an emotion is. An emotion is a chemical reaction that happens in your brain. It's just like a burst. Usually it's like 7 seconds. The most it'll be is 15 seconds. Within that chemical burst, you can do one of two things. You can react to it and you can change your life because of it in a negative way, or you can master your emotions, master the fact that your body is just reacting to something that you heard, that you hear, that you're triggered by, that you have some trauma from, that something, goes back to a deep place from. Whatever it is, it's just an emotion. And like she said, it's very important, especially in the accounting field and in the business field, to be able to master your emotion when you work with big companies, because you're going to be in different meetings and working with different peoples, and having that mastery of your emotions is going to be very important for you to be successful in business and in life. All right, Willie, we'll end it with you.
The one thing that I would say to you all is that in addition to having a plan from a career perspective, have a personal financial plan. The number of people that I've come in contact with over the course of my career who were very well trained and knowledgeable about accounting and business, who didn't have personal financial plans, is astounding. For example, had I known at 22 what I knew at 42, I could have retired when I was 45. I retired at 60, but had I known at 22 what you have the opportunity to know, you can change the financial trajectory of your life and the life of your family. You start investing at 22. Not 32 or 42. Figure out how to do that. Because if you don't, you'll be working until you're 65. And that's not fun.
All right, guys, give it up one more time for all of our amazing panelists, giving all of that insightful knowledge. We appreciate all three of you guys, and thank you so much for joining us on Money Talks. Give it up for them one more time. I would like to thank my mom, who is here with me today. Give it up for my mom. And give it up for the team at Pod Digital Media. And Ray, you and your team at the agency doing it real big. The Venture Agency. And of course, out of all of, you want me to shout, what's your name? And Anthony, who needs a stone shout out, apparently. Put the camera on Anthony, okay? Anthony. All right. And now since we're up here at Money Talks, we're gonna audit you as soon as we're gonna make sure you're paying your student loans on time. Now that you put the camera on you, we're gonna point it around to you. Again, man, this is such a privilege to come back with you all and be here on the campus of North Carolina A&T State University. Over the last 25 years, I've been able to interview everybody. I've been able to sit down with current presidents, Barack. I've been able to talk to actors and athletes and entertainers, but to be able to come home to my alma mater and to be able to sit with business students and to be able to sit down with some people in the financial industry where we can talk about different things that affect your life, it really is truly an honor. So thank you guys so much for having me. North Carolina A&T, I appreciate you. And we'd like to have the final remarks, but Dr. OJ.
Terrence, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, this is amazing. This was amazing, wasn't it? Let's give Terrence an air geek, right? Again, I don't think I can emphasize enough our gratitude for this conversation. So thank you. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to Deloitte. We truly hope that our students here today have listened and have some nuggets of wisdom that they can take with them, like investing at 22 and not 32 or 42. Love it. I'm here with you. Something that motivates them to consider how versatile their business and accounting degrees can be. So outside of my day, my being the accounting and the finance department chair, my pleasure, I also research in accounting and education, and I am deeply passionate about that. I want my students to have the technical skills that they need to be successful in their career, but I also know there's another set of skills that you need, the skills that make you human and make you successful. And today was a demonstration of those skills by people who are successful in their career. So I hope you guys were paying attention, got a lot out of it, and I'm so glad you were here. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, go to class now. Go to class. I'm joking. I'd love to take some photos with you guys if you guys want to take photos with me. I'm down.
Bye.